I'm with the man everyone wants to talk to here, and it's not Steven Spielberg. I'm telling you, it is Will from Ben, because Ben is the company that's going to bring brands into your productions. That means money, honey. So what we want to know, first and foremost, the PGA people want to know, what stage of production can we come to you at? Because, like, you know, sometimes I have ideas and I think, oh, this would be, I can see the brand integration right from the beginning, the idea phase, and not even in the script phase. But I'm wondering, is that too soon to start a conversation with you? Do we need to have distribution? Does Netflix have to be on board? Like,
Right.
how does that work?
It's a great question. I mean, first and foremost, we love to just build relationships with people. So we love for you to bring us projects at any phase. Once it starts becoming actionable in terms of we're going into pre-production, we have a date, here's kind of what it's going to look like, here's where it may live, that's when brands can really kind of tangentially make investments and put dollars on the table. But even if it's early in development and it's a seed of something, we still want to have the conversation because we can brainstorm brands that make sense and kind of be with you on the journey along the way.
Right. Because there's so many projects now that are integrating influencers right actually into the project.
Yeah.
So how do you advise somebody that wants to take advantage of, say, influencers that they might have cast already or something? Do they work with the influencers, establish relationships with brands, or would you be helpful to be an intermediary because as a producer I may not know the lingo and the language of brands?
Yeah, absolutely we can, because another big aspect of our business is influencer marketing as well. So bringing brands to influencers, doing campaigns that way. You know, the reality is a lot of brands want to hit younger audiences, and the way that people are consuming content is different. So if you can leverage that and find brands, we're happy to do that as well. Because we're seeing a lot of it. There's a lot of films and television series that are starring influencer talent. This is their first feature film. This is their first, but they're coming with millions of passionate fans that will come and watch it. We saw with Addison Rae on He's All That with Netflix, and that was something that we work on as well. So I think it's all good stuff, and we're happy to do that. We're happy to help facilitate it and find brands that are appropriate for that talent and that project.
Now, if I have a finished project that I somehow managed to miraculously fund,
Yeah.
and I wanted to promote it, would I then maybe be able to come to you to help connect with brands?
Yes,
Or influencers?
yes.
Or-
You know, there's an influencer, there's a fun tune-in campaign that can maybe happen. There's maybe some additional marketing support, especially if the film's story and DNA speaks to the DNA of a brand. Even if there isn't an integration there, there's a link of kind of what the story is telling or what's important to them. So a brand could come on board from a promotional standpoint, building a social or digital influencer campaign around it to bring tune-in, to drive, you know, viewership that way. The only thing that I would say now is anything is possible. There isn't a set way to do things now, and it's never been more important for brands to work with storytellers.
Yeah.
There's just so many opportunities to.
Absolutely. And I think audiences are expectant, so it's like to comment on the thing being in the piece isn't the way it used to be, like, you know,
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and that's so important to us because we have a tremendous amount of respect for the creative process. So if we're putting a brand in, we want it to feel real and authentic and not in your face or disruptive of the content.
Yeah. So just one last question. What are you most excited about that's happening at Ben right now?
I'm excited of just the explosive nature of content and the young, emerging, diverse storytellers that we're getting to see tell their stories that maybe 10 years ago wouldn't have been able to. I think streaming has a big part of that, and just where people can watch content and brands understanding that we want to hit these storytellers and build these relationships early on so we can kind of be part of their success rather than after they've already made it.
Yeah.
So it's just a very exciting time. There's so many opportunities for brands to work with filmmakers and producers, and brands are more interested to do it now just because they realize they need to be in the content in order to get their consumers and their audiences. So
Right, because we can swipe through that.
yeah. Well, and if you look at how people are watching content, it's on non-ad supported streaming platforms. It's, you know, things that advertising isn't surrounding. So you got to be in it to kind of hit those eyeballs.
Yeah.
And there's a really great opportunity to do it.
Cool. Well, I'm going to call this guy as soon as we get out of here.